Now, one way of understanding this is by looking at human history in a very grandiose way, if you like, and seeing Allah's providential engagement with human failings in history in terms of three great and many lesser falls and reclamations. The fall coming about through a satanic act of ignorance, and the reclamation coming about through forms of education, human repentance and clawing back an entitlement to the divine gift of knowledge. What are these three big ones? Individually, we know this happens constantly. It's the nature of human beings that we have a state of knowledge and then we fall away from it, then we regain it and fall away. The human religious life is a dynamic process of moving forward and then a process of forgetfulness moving backwards. And the way to falah is not through some unproblematic, triumphant procession to light in the grave. It's a good deal more difficult, more painful than that, as we all know. We try at most for every 100 steps we take forward not to take more than 99 steps backwards again. And that, in our age in particular, is hard enough and can only be accomplished through divine aid and the prayers of those who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the case in every human individual case. But historically also there seem to be three very large collective cases of this, which perhaps can frame our discussion of this idea of education. And the first, and if you like the paradigmatic one, is what in the West would be referred to as the fall. And this, in its Quranic framing, is particularly instructive, because in fact it's not a fall at all, but an ascent. This is the true ascent of man. If you look at the tafsirs, particularly the tafsir of Al-Allama ibn Kathir, you'll see that this is a very positive and a hopeful event. Why? Because the consequence of the departure of Sayyidina Adam and Sayyidatna Hawa alayhim as-salam from the paradisial state into the arena of good and evil, light and darkness, knowledge and ignorance that is the world, is the positive one, the progressive one of gaining potentially the state of khilafah. Adam alayhi salam is only truly the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in dunya. Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa. He says to the angels in that great prologue in heaven that I am creating in the earth a Khalifa. And this is what he says about Adam, and it is this that makes it legitimate for the angels to prostrate to Adam, not because of his state as part of a harmonious world of complete obedience and harmony with the divine will in Jannah, but because of the much greater human glory that comes about through being away from Jannah, but still being Allah's Khalifa fil ard. So in the Islamic perspective, we say that we do not believe in the fall, and that word does not exist in our vocabulary. What we believe in is the ascent from a kind of angelic condition of complete, unquestioning obedience through the accidental moment of ignorance which is eating from the tree, shajaratul khuld, to what is objectively a higher condition. In most human cases, a condition of potentiality, because we only potentially Adam. It is only a few individuals who truly have the state of knowing all of the names. And what is that movement back to this higher state? It's a process of ta'aleem in the Qur'an itself, in those magnificent opening verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, which really set the framework for its entire anthropology, makes this clear. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. And he taught Adam all of the names. And the process of retrieval, which was the process of exaltation of man, was فَتَلَقَّى آدَمُ مِنْ رَبِّهِ كَلِمَاتٍ. And Adam received from his Lord certain words, فَتَابَ عَلَيْهِ. And he relented towards him. Or, according to some of the Mufassirun, Adam repented towards his Lord when he learnt these things, these kalimat. Now we don't need to go into the details of what exactly those words were, and the ulama have a fertile abundance of interpretations, but it's clear that this is a process of education that takes Adam from his original latent, almost childlike state in the Jannah to the more exalted maqam or condition of being Allah's Khalifa on the earth. So the first fall, to use that term, it leads to the glorious consummation of the Adamic Khalifal perfection, which is knowing all of the names. So education in this sense is not merely the inculcation of knowledge, far from it. Education in the true Islamic sense is the entire religious process, which is coming out of the state of disobedience and gaining something that's even higher than the state of the angels, because the angels can bow down to man, and vice versa is not possible. So that's the first of the three falls, which is made good by education.